We are here in New York City at Vogue Knitting Live New York, complete with fairy hair, courtesy of Shaina Billows. And we are going to show you as many things as we can, and the things I forget to film, I'm going to tell you about later. So stay tuned, watch the video, let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Knit Life Oils YouTube channel. So I just got back from New York City for Vogue Knitting Live New York, and I thought I would tell you about it. So I've done one event in the past where I filmed a lot while I was there, and we did something a little bit different this time. Not differently, different this time. And I took some video for you guys, but I was really in the moment and I was really just living it up, and it was so much fun. So I'm going to talk you through my weekend and what happened, intersperse some videos, and show you what happened. So Thursday morning, I flew across the country. I have never been to the East Coast before. I guess I can't say that anymore. But it was my first time on the East Coast, and so I got up super early. It's like a 5.5-hour flight from where I live. And so I flew all day and got over there, and then it's like an hour Uber ride to Times Square, which is where the hotel is. And I stayed at a hotel like on the other side of Times Square, so I had to walk through Times Square to get to the Marriott, which is where Vogue Knitting Live is, which was totally cool with me because then I got to see Times Square multiple times. The first time I saw Times Square, oh my gosh, there are lights everywhere, and that's really cool. And just to see, like, it looks just like it does on TV, which was really cool. And so to stand there and be there was really awesome. So I got checked into my hotel, and then I went over to the Marriott and registered, got my badge and everything. I accidentally stopped by the teacher meeting for a second to say hi to a couple of my friends, which was awesome. And I said hi to a couple of the vendors, and then I went up to meet my friend Irina, who was hosting a meetup at the bar, and we all like met there, and we got to keep kind of like cycling through the whole night. And so I get up there, and it was me and Irina and her friend Merritt, and she was asking me like who I wanted to meet, and I'm like, well, one of them is definitely Romy Hill, and then there's a couple like others, because I know that she's friends with Romy Hill. And she's like, well, she's gonna be here in like 10 minutes. And I was like, wait a second, I have been traveling all day. I am absolutely not ready for this. And she's like, you better eat and get ready, because this is what's happening. So the rest of the night, like, people just kind of cycled in, and it was so cool. We had like one-on-one chats with each person, and we got to like network with each other, and it was great. Here, let me show you one of the things I got. So this is a sampler pack of yarn from Great Southern Yarn. They dye yarn in Australia, and it's pretty much straight from the sheep. I wish you could smell this, okay? Like, I want you to be able to smell this, but you can't. So I'll smell it for you. It smells like a sheep, and it's great. So Jared and Elisha were there, and they gave these to us, and I can't wait to use them. So there are 4 different bases: a merino, straight merino DK, merino nylon fingering, single spun merino, and merino alpaca. So that's gonna be super fun to play with. So then we kind of moved out to a table, and some other people started stopping by, and that was really fun. Xandy Peters got to come by, and I got to knit with him, which never happens because we're always both running around like crazy people every time we see each other. So that was awesome. And then we went to Junior's to get cheesecake. I got confetti cheesecake. It was amazing. It was great. So that was the first night. I was like, oh my word, this is amazing. It was a great first night. So then Saturday, I met up with my friend Britt from Knot Bad Britt, and we are in a business group together, and so we talk a lot. And so it was so nice to just sit with her for a while, and we did this thing which I always dream about doing at festivals where we just kind of sit at a table all day and like we come and go as we need to, and then like people come to us, and it worked so beautifully because if you're both moving at the event, it's really hard to find people, and then we all get confused, and then we don't get to see each other, and then it's really sad. So that was really great. And then one of the ladies from my virtual knit night, Pat got to come see me, and I had lunch with her, and I got to see what it looked like from the 23rd floor of the hotel. That is very high. So that was very different for me because our hotels here are like maybe 8 floors, maybe. So they're definitely not very high. Then, one of the other highlights of my trip, I was really looking forward to meeting Olga from Gotham Knits. And so that was great. And she interviewed me for GoSadi, and that was really fun. And I just kind of waved at Olga all weekend. It was great. So then I was sitting at the table, and Mara walks by, and she was with Shaina Bilow, who I was really excited to meet because we are both teaching at the Knit Happy Summit this weekend. And I had seen her out to dinner with some other teachers the night before, and I was like, oh, I really want to meet Shaina. And so Shaina comes up, and I fangirled over her, which I do to a lot of people. It's okay. And I'm like, what is in your hair? It's so shiny and pretty. And so she's like, well, it's called fairy hair. I'm like, what is fairy hair? She goes, well, I have some up in my room, but nobody ever wants it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, please. So you can still see my fairy hair. It keeps shining on the camera, which I love. And that is amazing. I still have a couple pieces left. Yeah, you can see it right there. So that is super fun. And so then it became this thing. So Shaina did mine first, and then she did Merritt's, and then Paul's, and then everybody needed fairy hair. And then people were really sad that they weren't at this table doing fairy hair. And so later Shaina had to do like 30 more people with fairy hair. So it was a thing. It was the fairy hair squad. Everybody had to get fairy hair from Shaina Bilow. And it was amazing. It was awesome. So Friday night, the marketplace opened. It was a little bit crowded, but I did a quick lap. And then we went to the GoSadi Game Night. Everybody had been telling me all day how good the food was, and the food was really good. There was like mushroom ravioli and lobster or something. They're like lobster rolls, maybe? Is that what they're called? I don't know. So yeah, so that was really good and fun, and we played bingo and games. And it was really fun. I sat with Britt and Natalie from Detroit Knots, and Jessie from Crochet Foundry, and Toni from TLYarncrafts, and it was just super fun. So let me show you a little bit of what that looks like. So then on Saturday, I got up earlier than I wanted to, but I really wanted to see Britt MC the fashion show. She is so good when you give her a microphone, and it was great. So let's take a quick look at that.
I'd like to welcome this time for the designers that are in the building and have a piece in the show. Please stand up and receive a round of applause.
So then I decided to work on my GoSadi scavenger hunt, and I love things like this. If you could give me all the games, just all the games, give me all of them. And I love playing things like this at festivals. So I went around and found all the things I was supposed to find and took pictures. One of them was find a furls crochet hook, and I knew Paul had been crocheting with one the day before, and so I found Paul before I found anywhere else to find a furls crochet hook, and I made him get it out and take a picture. It was great. That was a highlight for me. So that was cool. And then I got to meet up with a couple people. So Kim and Jonna are podcasters from Knit Two Together with Kim and Jonna, or Knit Together with Kim and Jonna, something like that. and they were wonderful. I have Zoomed with them and worked with them before, and so it was great to meet them in person. I had the best time. I also kept going back and forth between the marketplace floors, but I really liked the 7th floor, which I could see out over the 6th floor marketplace. It was so easy to see everything. So let me show you that. So then I stopped by the GoSadi fashion show, which GoSadi is an amazing organization that is launching an app and for designers, and a lot of my friends were in the fashion show and had designed patterns, and it was just awesome to see all of that.
Designed for our amazing sponsor, Earth Yarns, this is a relaxed pullover in an all-over garter rib texture. Next is the Cedar of Pants by Sophia Talley of the Drop Knitter. This top-down seamless straight leg pant begins with a folded over waistband. Super simple short rows are worked to create a higher rise in the back. Then hip increases are worked on the center back and fronts. The legs are separated and more short rows are worked for booty shaping. The legs are worked by knitting even and are finished with a rolled edge. Next, a pant pucker. This sweater lets the knitter do a little bit of everything: cables, color, and seaming. The oversized crop length ensures a fashionable fit, perfect for skirt shorts or hiking pants. Each section is worked individually before being seamed together. The stacked tangle blanket will turn your expectations of a well-known granny stitch on your head. This pattern uses stacked increases and decreases to turn simple stripes into complex-looking colorwork. This isn't much harder than a regular granny stitch afghan, and there are photo tutorials. It can be made in many sizes and is well suited for crocheters who are familiar with basic stitches and ready to take on new skills. I will be seeing you throughout the rest of the show. Don't forget also to make sure to grab a bag on your way out.
So after that, I walked around the marketplace a little bit more and found a few more friends. Julie, I know from H&H, and she is like my favorite person for like one-liners. And then I remember them forever, and it's like my motivation for the next like 6 months. And so this time I was like, this is my rest. I know it doesn't look like I'm resting, but it kind of is. She goes, it's active rest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. So this was my active rest trip. And then I saw Paul wandering around again, and that was fun. Paul was a model in a couple of fashion shows, and he wrote a really amazing book, and I can't wait for him to share more about that. And then I also got to see Kevin and Ray from the Needles at the Ready podcast, and that was awesome. And then I stopped by my friend Liz's booth. So Liz is Wool Studios yarn, and she is my good morning friend at H&H. And so every year for the last 2 years at H&H, I stop by her booth and tell her good morning. And it's just become this thing. And she didn't know I was going to be at Vogue. And so I stopped by her booth every day and told her good morning, no matter if it was like 5 o'clock at night or not. And it just made her a little bit happier. And so I took home one of her yarn skeins. So this is Spirit of the Fae. It's 100% organic merino wool, and has all of these. Look at that. Wow. I'm super excited to do something with this. I think it's going to be a cowl, and it's going to be soft and squishy and amazing. My goal for this trip was to buy inspiring skeins. And so I know that I talked about this a little bit with you guys when I was talking about my goals for the year, and I really want to use my inspirational skeins. So I really didn't want to buy yarn unless it was inspirational. And so look at all the color pooling. So I'm really excited about this. And so that will be fun. Then I went to my friend Irina's presentation with Farm to Fiber. And so she designed a new shawl with yarn from Morehouse Yarns, and they raise the sheep, have sheep, do the thing. I'm not very good at the like farm to fiber thing. So they were awesome though. So I will show you a little bit of that.
Being here, I'm Ann now with Farm Fiber Knits. I'm so pleased to introduce Irina of Fiber Chats, who's here talking about her new shawl, Sway With Me. She's knitted in Morehouse, Bilow. She's going to tell us about the shawl.
So then it was the end of Saturday. We were all pretty tired by this point. So we went up to the restaurant and we got some food and stuff and just kind of sat and knitted for a while. I had dinner with Shaina. Some people went to the gala, things like that. So that was kind of the rest of Saturday. And so then Sunday, that was the last day. And so I realized I hadn't spent very much time on the 5th floor. So I went down to the 5th floor and explored down there a little bit. And I got a few yarn skeins. So let me show you. So, okay, this is a funny story. Ready? Okay, so I went to the Haynes House Yarns booth on Friday, the first night. I kind of stopped by and I was like, oh, I really like this one yarn skein. I'll keep it in mind as like my souvenir skein from the trip. So this is the skein. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love it. I love the way the orange and the pink play together. So, this was the skein and I still had it in my head. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and get it. And I was looking at things and I kept kind of picking stuff up. And Terry just kept suggesting colors and she was so wonderful. And so then I picked up this skein and I was like, oh, this is really pretty, but maybe I have a lot that look like it. And I was holding it with this one and like, they don't totally go together. And then Terry hands me this skein. But now they go together beautifully. I don't know how she did that. It was insane. So it was very cool. And huge shout out to Terry at Haynes House Yarns. And it was really cool. So I am going to make a top out of this. Probably a t-shirt or a tank top. I'm kind of thinking a t-shirt. I can probably get it out of this. I think this one, and they'll go this way. So this one will be at the top and the purple will be at the bottom. So I'm really excited about that. And these are really inspiring me. Please don't let me cast them on tomorrow. That's not what needs to happen. Then I stopped by Clover and they had Pro Takuyumis. And I talked to the lady about using them for socks and how, or small projects, fingerless mitts, things like that. And how to not break them, because I'm really good at breaking tiny wood needles, but I would really like to use wood needles for small. So these are 1.5s, and they are the Pro Takumis, which is one of my absolute favorite needles. I really want the Pro Takumis in an interchangeable set. We'll see how that goes. And then I stopped by Circle of Stitches booth, and Circulo Yarn was there. And so they make a lot of different yarns in different fibers. And so if you don't know, I have an exotic fiber bucket that has things like possum yarn and buffalo yarn and sea cell and very interesting things in it. So I got a couple of these to add to this exotic fiber bucket. So this is made of 100% sugar cane. Oh my gosh, look at that color too. And it matches the wall. Okay. My mom picked this up when I got home and she's like, it is so soft. Please don't just put it in the exotic fiber bucket. Please make something with it. So I might have to figure out what to do with this because it is very pretty and very soft. So, and then this one, so this one's a DK and this is a worsted weight and it is made of, let me read it so I don't do it wrong. 40% viscose, 30% aloe, and 30% cotton. This is really soft too. I didn't know you can make aloe into yarn, so that was really exciting. So yes, so new things for the exotic fiber bucket. I was very excited. So I said goodbye to Times Square. We were trying to get out before the weather was like turning on us. Like it was going to start to snow and all of these things, and it was absolutely freezing. And so I did make it back to the airport. My flight didn't get delayed. Some of my friends did, like right after me. So I did get home and all of those good things. But yeah, it was just an amazing trip. I had so much fun, and it was so good to see yarn dyers that I don't normally get to see. My friends from H&H, meet new friends that I don't see because I don't go all the way over to the East Coast very often, ever until this. And yeah, so it was just a great trip, and I hope you enjoyed seeing more about it, and I will see you next time.